spell, to create spells of illusions. Like when you're under a spell, you're under an illusion. So this is why music is the most powerful way to hypnotize people. This music is the most powerful way to get people to, right. Exactly, hypnotized. That's true, yeah.
And we went through one of the craziest eras of music, which was the Age of Pisces. So the Age of Pisces was all illusion, and there was so much theater, there was so much movies, there was so much music. And then now that we're going into the Age of Aquarius, we're seeing Hollywood fall. We're seeing actors going through problems. We're seeing movies going through problems, right? There's always going to be movies and music. I'm not saying that it's going to go away, but it's going through its transformations also in the art form, because the illusions are being exposed. People are getting more in the Age of Aquarius, which is more internet, more knowledge, more realization. People waking up to, what's real and what's not real.
Greetings and welcome to the Out of Noise podcast with your host Stella B and
let's do it again.
Okay, greetings
and
welcome to Out of Noise with your host Stella B
and Nat 9,
where we bring our peace
to the mic.
So yeah, this is a weekly podcast, and currently we are dealing with issues to do with trending subjects, but yeah, check us out. This is episode number 6, so we've been consistent and we're going to keep going with this. What we're going to talk about today, Nat 9?
Today I feel we can talk about the crypto scandal, or crypto in general, actually. Web3. We can talk about Web3. Okay,
so we're definitely going to touch on some Web3 subjects. Also in the news today or this week, we'll be talking about the passing of Migos rapper Takeoff, in relative to what we were discussing last week on the podcast, with Ye's statement that he's been, completely... What's the phrase? Is it what's the term of phrase that 19 Keys was talking about with...
butt breaking,
yes, which also NBA Kyrie Irving as well, he's been having to do the whole kind of going around apologizing for just posting essentially just posting something. But when Ye talked about what he talked about on the Drinks Champs, we just had a few things to say about that ourselves, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We spoke on it last episode, but yeah, I mean, as you've mentioned with Takeoff being, I think it was a friendly fire. I don't even think he was meant to have been killed, but nevertheless, that environment that is created or that exists is exasperated by the music, and rappers are not safe from that. Rap is not the way out, it seems, and yeah, that was one of the things that was said on the Drink Champs episode.
So Ye was questioning certains who don't get reprimanded for making certain choices, or for making choices that are all about making money but have consequence to our community, essentially our people, the people who mostly will buy into that culture that is being set by people with money who can pump that kind of cash into making everybody focus on that form of our black culture. So we talked on that a bit, and we just also this is one of the consequences, because it's a lifestyle that's promoted that, okay, you would imagine as a rapper, a rap star, I believe they formed in 2008. Okay, it's 2022. Okay, so they've been going a long time at Amigos, and they're a very creative rap group, superstars of our times. And you would think that they'd be far, far away from any kind of incident such as this happening. But there's a culture that still is being promoted heavily, that is attached to our black people, that needs to go and needs to not be supported by any entities as it is currently.
Be drinking lean and syrup, and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical, though. You're saying
it's opportunistic. Yeah. I got people to feed.
Absolutely, and I guess in what you're saying, that the wealth doesn't is not a way out necessarily. So money and fame is not a way out. The culture rises and entraps a lot of us who's in that world.
Clearly, because I mean, he's 28, and the statistic goes that dead or in jail by 25, which is a disgusting statistic to attach to our people. But these are hard facts, especially in some of the most violent cities in our world that exist, not only in America but also here in the UK. You know, the the school to prison pipeline is a very real thing. So why are big time executives pumping so much money and gaining so much money from an industry that promotes death, a culture of killing, not recognizing your brother as your brother or your sister as your sister, but no, those are the two ways that we can be addressed in a certain style of music, which is supported by people that won't necessarily promote that to their children. And yeah, we just wanted to really rest in peace to Takeoff, because it sounds from what I'm hearing and what I've read, you know, it sounds like, you know, he's more of the quiet one in the group, and you know, his talents were sort of like they spoke for themselves, and it's just, you know, he was caught, as Nat said, in friendly fire. So it's like, just by being around during that incident that took place, which another thing was how it was just shown, like, again, luckily I'm not I don't have those type of people that will send me such videos, but you know, what is this about our black pain just being shared on the internet, just, you know, willy-nilly? Like, this is not on.
Yeah, that's the other issue, that, you know, the trauma, and yeah, a video of it, yeah, we didn't see it ourselves, and it's not something that we would want to see, but share it. It's like, it's dehumanizing. It's yeah, it's very, very dehumanizing of quite a horrific and tragic incident. I was just checking my phone as well, because not to mention that, or do we have to mention that on around the same weekend, because we're saying that you mentioned about the UK as well, on that same weekend you had drill rapper Perm as well, who was shot and killed in Brixton, along with a delivery driver who had nothing to do with anything, he was just doing his job. He was also shot and killed. And so the incidences paralleled. The only difference is that Perm is not as well known as Takeoff, but the situation is like similar, right? It's like rap is not, they're not able to escape a certain lifestyle, not able to escape a certain level of danger with what they gain in terms of money and fame. Also, Perm is related to quite an established boxer, Dillian White, and his dad is actually I believe Dillian White's manager, or was his manager. So getting up the social ladder doesn't escape you from that lifestyle, essentially, and this is why it's really imperative that we do challenge it, because music shapes culture. Our music shapes our culture, and the type of content that has been out recently, or not even recently, for the last 30 years, and progressively or regressively getting worse over time, is causing us a lot of issues, essentially. And these are examples, especially when for the longest time it's been said as these young people have been using it to get their way out of a lifestyle, and it's clearly showing it's not.
It's not. And what's deep is this, it's like a vicious cycle. So obviously, if you're from a demographic that is economically challenged, and you want to essentially improve your life, okay, improve your life, the life of your parents, you know, you might make certain choices based on what you've seen others do to make the kind of money that is essentially thriving instead of surviving, okay. And when we're growing up, the pop stars and the celebrities, those are the type of people that are pushed upon you to be recognized as, yes, this is the way out of the like economic situation of survival. But really, there are so many different avenues in terms of our skills sets that we have that aren't also promoted. And I want to bring in really briefly before we go on to talk about crypto, and it will be a nice little segue anyway. But I want to bring in the alternative, which is things like what the Earn Your Leisure brothers are doing, and that Invest Fest that we went to, which we spoke about last week briefly, but which really did. So Earn Your Leisure, the two brothers that run that, is a podcast, a weekly podcast that teaches how to essentially trade and invest. Also, they have different guests on every week as well, and they promote things like learning about how to invest in property, in the property market, and then they have 19 Keys on there talking about cryptocurrency and, you know.
You understand me? So mastery of self is also looking for the opportunities to do for self. The biggest opportunity to do for self exists on the blockchain. You understand me? That if a person, let's look at the banks. The banks are the worst, most predatory institutions on the planet. You understand me? For the whole human existence. We in the vault right now. You understand me? They take your money, they deposit in their vault. At any point in time, they got maybe 10% of what you put on there on hand. The rest they invested.
Yeah. NFTs and all range of things that you can actively learn or earn your leisure, essentially, because they're giving you the equipment and the tools to be able to do for yourself, which is the missing link, is the missing factor in schools, in, you know, even right up into university. They're not telling you all of these kind of that they shouldn't really be secrets, but they are. The secrets to success. So people might make a lot of money and then squander it because they literally don't know how to invest that money or triple that money and turn it into, you know, so tens of thousands, turn that into millions, because not everyone's got that natural capability of that hustle mentality, which a lot of our street people actually do, ironically. But it's kind of like the energy's shoved in the wrong direction, because those routes out are the only things that are on display. Evidently, you're only going to see things like Top Boy being the top series to date. And you're only going to see like Jill and all that kind of gangster music being promoted as the top. So all the visuals that come with it, all the pretty women and all that kind of stuff is what sexies it up. But you're not going to see, until Earn Your Leisure Brothers and Night and Keys and some others, you're not really going to see a lifestyle promoted about, you know, using your smarts, about embracing that geeky side of you that likes computers and is into all of those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what is as we say, music shapes culture, films shapes culture and such. So what is defined as cool, essentially, when you're European, you've got James Bond, for example, who is portrayed as I guess as gangster, as the next gangster, but a lot of it is to do with intellect. A lot of it is to do with sophistication, using the highest, most up-to-date gadgets to be able to get around. And when you think about Iron Man's a billionaire genius. He's not just a superhero. You've got several examples of showcasing intelligence and intellect and being able to acquire wealth in a legal way in terms of films for Europeans. But as for Africans, it's as you're saying, it's very limited. So what we have is either the gang lifestyle, and if we ain't got that, then it's sport or it's music. And I feel like this has been said so often. This has been said for decades now. This is not nothing new that is being said. But we have that, and then we have just work 9 to 5. That's it. Those are options.
Yeah, and just to go back on your point about the imagery of a super smart, hero, superhero. Wakanda Forever was out on 11/11. Big up for that. And we've not seen it yet, but we're gonna definitely watch that and give a review. But the character, is it Shuri? Shuri. She is that.
I have great things to show you, brother. Here are your communication devices for Korea. Unlimited range, also equipped with audio surveillance system. Check these out. Remote access Kimoyo beats, updated to interface directly with my send table.
And what are these?
The real question is, what are those?
And I love it because obviously she's a female, and she is like what I'm trying to promote as well in terms of black girls learning about code and tech, and as well as our black boys as well. I think it's just super important to have those kind of representations at the top there. So just wanted to shout that out as a side note.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good point. Black Panther is an example of that, but we need more. We need a lot more. And with Invest Fest, with the Earn Your Leisure Brothers, with everybody that they had on stage, including Night and Keys, the Master Investor, Wall Street Chapper, the Black British representations of talking on property as well. Can't remember the names off the top of their head.
Patricia Bright was there.
So that's another issue. That I'd like to just talk on, really. The quote unquote Black British are underrepresented as well. A lot of what we look for and seek is in America, and that has obviously had an influence in terms of the culture here. So our music has been influenced by several different of the diaspora, but the biggest one you have to say is the American or African American culture has influenced us. So when we have grime, when we have drill, for example, the narrative, the content of it is influenced by, or was influenced, the birthing of it was influenced by what a lot of us grew up seeing in the 90s. So and our influence is from the 90s. So that shaped us. But we don't amplify and hold up the Black British of anything really. We don't really, and that needs to change as well. That's a quick side note, but yeah, the Invest Fest was really good. It was really, really good, and it just showed that our people, there are those of us that are doing amazing and great things, and the greater the reach of the likes of Earning Leisure, the greater the influence they can have on shaping just a different world for our people, essentially.
Absolutely. I loved it, and I'm still buzzing from it. I'm still sharing clips from it. I will be probably for the next few months because it's a daily inspiration, really. But yeah, like so much drama in the world of trading. It's like super drama, isn't it? Like, and it's one of those things, like, you know they say like, oh, black people love drama and all of that, or if you go to Brixton or something like that, you're expected to just be witnessing some madness. It's the same in the world of crypto trading specifically. They're talking about crypto specifically, but in the world of trading, it is that, because if you know a little bit about trading, you've heard of the phrase bear market and bull market, or things being bullish and things being bearish. You've also probably heard of things like fear and greed. Okay. What I just want to quickly say is that it's just all storytelling, like really and truly, when you really break it down, it's about the narrative, and the narrative is what shifts and changes those candle wicks that you're going to see. If you're a day trader, if you're someone that's just into it in the first place, you'll understand what I mean by that. Those charts that you see, it's like literally someone's going to say something about someone and something or another, and then that's just going to shove things one direction or the next. So recently, what's happening? Let's hear about it.
Yeah, so this is a trending topic that's reached the mainstream, and the mainstream is basically using it as a way to just cast further doubt on crypto, on the Web3 space. And it's typical. They're not going to educate something that the people need to know about. So we feel that the Web3 space is very important to get your knowledge up on, because the world is rapidly shifting more and more into a digital world, essentially. So it's wise to be clued up upon what is happening. Like, it's not even that far. It's literally encroaching on our lives now. You see, certain people's livelihoods are at risk because the AI is now able to do certain tasks on a, let's put it frankly, far more efficient way that a human being can. So, and cost less in many different ways. So for that reason alone, it's good to be in the know of Web3, and we want our people to be in the know of it, essentially, because we don't be left behind and be subject to the dictates of others who are in control of the AI. That's a very dystopic world, if you can actually imagine what could come from that, especially as we go through certain battles today with certain human beings. But in terms of the crypto trading specifically, yes, crypto is very volatile, and a day is basically like a week. And a week is like a month, and a month is a year. That's how it is in crypto. Like, a lot can change and shift in a very, very, very short space of time. So you have to be really mentally strong to be in that space, or to be invested in that space. You have to know what you're doing. You can't just invest blindly.
The reason why people end up investing blindly is because the education isn't really there. That's another plug for Earn Your Leisure and brothers like Night and Keys, who are trying to promote that understanding. Also, Nat Naya, he is an incredible mind and gifted, and he has really soaked in a lot of this knowledge. So he'll be also doing some classes or some sessions online anyway. So that's something that's coming in the near future to do with sort of Web3. But I just want to say, because of that lack of knowledge, that's why people come into the narrative of, mostly people are desperate for earning their leisure. They want to stop that survival mode and get into thriving mode. And so when they hear about, I sold an NFT and I made, £16,000 in and you hear these stories like pushed. So you might enter a clubhouse room like, we're discussing NFTs, or we're discussing whatever. And you go into there and you're completely clueless. And unfortunately, the onboarding process is not very good at the moment. People will mostly just tell you, do your due diligence, go off and do your studying, and give you kind of like little nuggets. But it's a whole bunch of words that you firstly won't even understand what's going on. And not everyone has that kind of capability of doing their due diligence. That's not really a fair expectation of everybody's minds, type of minds, especially some creative minds which are just, you know, all over the place. So yeah, that can lead to a kind of misconception of like, right, this is all about this, when actually when you trace back the whole kind of roots of why this new format of currency, of how to trade is coming about. You know, when you go back to the era of when Bitcoin first came about, and this whole idea of trying to shift away, or not trying, actually actively shifting away from a banking system that is severely corrupt, essentially something that is for the people and by the people, where the enablement of corruption, which reaches the heights of government, can't no longer happen via a technology that eliminates that. So that's the initial purpose. But then when you get to a point where this FTX tragedy has occurred, by this time, how many years on from that original kind of
14 years
on, there's been so many different let's say propped up, invented, trumped up, I don't know what the word is to use.
Manipulation is the word.
Okay, manipulated projects that you kind of question what the original intentions have been for the creation of these said projects. And this is why the whole reputation of scams and this and that is just literally associated with the crypto world. Because there are a lot of scams that are happening, but when people are not knowledgeable about how to evade these things, and when people are entering just because they want money tomorrow, it's perfect breeding ground for people that are going to just get rug pulled.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing: do your own research. I do actually really like that terminology or the abbreviation DYOR. I do, because that's exactly what you need to do to be in the space. If you can't do it, then you have to really then accept that you're gambling, that you're entering the space and gambling, or you're putting your trust in somebody or some group, and that's what you're doing. So if anything goes wrong, you have to take responsibility that you are actually just putting your trust into somebody else, essentially. Be it that person be an influencer, a YouTube influencer or a Twitter influencer, or somebody or a group on Discord. Essentially, if you're following the instructions or the recommendations of other people, then that's exactly what you're doing. Like, so anything that goes up or whatnot, you just have to take responsibility. And that, like, for me, I think if you're entering that space, just know that, yeah, if you're trading or if you're investing in it, it is the wild, wild west. It is like that. That's the truth. However, there is great potential to make a lot of money. Yes. There's also the potential to be a part of strong communities and people that actually do want to make the world a better place using technology in a way that technology can benefit the human experience rather than ending up where technology is replacing human beings. So you do have those opportunities, and you know, this world or this part of the world, we are conditioned to essentially be mind lazy. And you know, we're bigging up 19 Keys because 19 Keys promotes high level conversation, and what that means is that your brain just has to operate on a higher level. You have to critical thinking, practice critical thinking. It takes a lot of mind work, and I understand when you're bombarded with a lot, you've got work, stress, and all that kind of stuff, it can be hard. So you do need the mind space to be able to enter into the crypto or the Web3 space. You do, it's a fact. Otherwise, the potential for losing your money is extremely high. And you know, on the journey, you do have to trust yourself, trust your instincts, and do your due diligence. And yeah, being a part of a community or like where it's not just you, of course, that's a necessity. Really, there's only so much one can actually do and so much one can actually think when there's so much noise. So, as Stella mentioned, there's the reason why Bitcoin was created was in response. Or the narrative is that it was created in response to the crash in 2008 that basically affected the entire world. And the idea is to take away from centralized power, make it decentralized, make it autonomous as well, make it incorruptible, essentially, because a lot of the world is dictated by a relative few number of people, and the rest of the population has to be guided by that, often at the population's detriment. So crypto offers a change from that. But within the space has been clearly infiltrated, and what is quote unquote bad actors operate within that space, and they scam and lose people a lot of money. This FTX story, it's a deep one, and it keeps unraveling. It's a film. It's literally a film. It's an entertaining.
You need to tell people what it is, because okay, basically.
Well, I was just going to.
All right, go on.
Yeah, I just started. Yeah. So it's a film. It's a movie. It's and the more that comes out, the deeper it gets. So the scriptwriter has
Warner
got
Brothers.
It's Warner Brothers. Is that Warner Brothers? Well, I guess.
Oh no, that's Fox. That's 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no.
That's all right. They
What
can
is
have it
Warner
too.
Brothers? They don't really have one, do they?
There's a big W in a circle.
Yeah. I don't know their theme song. Okay,
Yeah.
it's all very epic.
Yeah, it's all epic. Yeah, any one of them can take this up, essentially. And they will. This is going to be a film. It is 100% going to be a film. This is not even a prediction, really. It's just what's going to happen. It's going to be a film. There's going to be a film, and there's going to be documentaries as well. And so creative people in the creative industry are going to make money from this, because you don't even have to try that hard. The scriptwriter doesn't even have to try that hard to put it together, because it's all there. It's a juicy story. In fact, what they will try and do is cut bits out so that you don't get the fullness of it.
Yeah, that's why it's really important that people like yourselves and myself exist to kind of break down the actual nitty gritty. Even that dude that you had on a minute ago, he was really he went in with the facts about right, natural conspiracy theorists up in the building. Yeah, natural conspiracy. It's just logical that if crypto is gonna be the new currency, that the powers that be are gonna infiltrate that and just do what they can to mess it up and make sure that the masses do not trust it.
Exactly. Like the financial institution, the financial industry is, if not the most powerful, it's one of the most powerful industries in the world. It dictates everything, literally everything. And you have something there that is challenging that. Of course, they're going to infiltrate it and manipulate it and direct it in a way that can benefit themselves. So FTX, founded by this young man called Sam Bankman-Fried, he, as it's come out, he's been responsible prior to this huge crash, which came as a result of him basically frauding the customers. So he took customers' money and used it to funneled it to his other business, which was entwined with it. I made a research, and they were basically using customers' money to leverage and invest, and so
kind of like what banks do.
Yeah, very much so. And this is against what the crypto is about. So FTX is a centralized exchange, and centralized exchanges are basically gateways for the public to get on board with crypto. It also enables you to invest in lots of crypto and trade crypto. So that's what centralized exchanges are. The decentralized exchanges, you often go through the centralized ones to get there. And with centralized exchanges, they are basically crypto versions of banks. So yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried was essentially operating like what a bank does.
Sam Bankman.
Yeah, it's in his name. It's literally in his name. And he basically, the thing is, he lied to his customers. He lied to his customers. He deceived the crypto world, and he was propped up and put as the king of crypto or prince of crypto or whatever, the savior of crypto. He was going around saving different projects. He was also entering politics, and he was also, by entering politics, he was the second largest donor of the Biden campaign for elections. So it was
this
a
thing
huge
goes
supporter
all
of
the way up.
Democrats. Yeah, and he was also very much, quote unquote, in bed with the US regulators, the SEC, and he wanted. So it's coming out is that he wanted, allegedly, regulators to regulate crypto in a way that would benefit FTX to monopolize the market, essentially. So attack decentralized finance and enable FTX to dominate the market, and that would benefit the government in terms of central bank digital currencies. So this essentially control. The very thing that crypto was created for is the very thing that he wanted to push in policy making. So as it's come out, essentially a lot of things is coming out. There's a lot coming out, but basically what had happened is that he was severely mismanaging funds, and it came out that he was also attacking other projects, attacking other crypto exchanges, Binance being the one. Binance Binance being one of them. Binance was an early investor into FTX, and I guess after a few attacks and discovering, because there was a report that was released about what the true financial situation of Alameda Research was, and upon that, Binance decided, or CZ of Binance, the founder of Binance, basically decided that he was going to air this to the public and sell all of his shares in FTX. And as Stella said, this is the impact. Like Elon Musk came on Twitter the other day and he said Doge to the moon, and Doge then boosted up. This is the impact of the narrative. Somebody can say something, somebody can tweet something, and it can have an influence on the whole market. So FTX, Alameda Research, they're built on a house of cards, and it was only a matter of time for them to come tumbling down. And essentially this story was being leaked about what the true nature of them are, that they might actually be fragile, and Binance was basically like, right, we're pulling out. And that caused a cascade of events. And when founders now who are running these scam projects come out and say everything's fine, everyone's assets are fine, then you know that's double speak. It's the exact opposite of that. And so it came to be. So we have witnessed over a few days how billions can come from billions to zero, basically. And there's more and more coming out about this, and his actions probably do deserve to be he does probably deserve prison time for it.
But this is a scapegoat thing, because I don't know if you know the name of the dude that was just mentioned to do with the regulator company that Sam Bankman-Fried was working with, and the link to his girlfriend. And this is not speculative. This is actually what people are actually divulging as facts. So this whole thing about this one person going to jail is kind of, to me, then a whole lot of the people that are involved in it, you know. But actually, when you break it down, it's the whole corrupt system that has gone before. So was this not just set up to get Biden in, or to get those votes, or to change policies and get all of that sorted out in a long roundabout way? Can we just stop thinking this man is the only reason that this has happened? I think that's really naive of us to believe that. Like, oh, he's just Sam Bankman-Fried. He just, he's the smart, kind of clever, evil character that just wants to rip off people, or see if he can get away with. It's extortionate to its supreme. Like, at a point, you're cool, you've done. You can rug pull ages ago. Like, why are you doing this for so long? Like, honestly, I just think that other dude that I'll get the name.
Gary Gensler.
Okay, Gary Gensler. Okay, yeah. So apparently he has a lot of these kind of things going on. This isn't the first time that he's been involved in something like this.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of shady stuff.
A lot.
And a lot of manipulation, and
it's not natural markets right now.
No, and you don't know when if it has been, because they infiltrate into everything. And so there is what I find strange is that the crypto is created for a certain reason, because the current system has been failing the people, but it's been working for the few. But the people, when these things happen, the people want to turn back to those same regulators who have been failing the current system to regulate something that is supposed to be the solution. That's very strange. And I guess what you're learning to, I don't know, I wouldn't say that Sam Bankman-Fried is the reason why Joe Biden got into presidency, but he is donated a lot of money to gain influence within the Democrat Party, or to gain influence in the government, period. And a young man like that, it is a stretch to believe that he's a mastermind or a criminal mastermind in and of himself. No, there are various different sources and forces behind his back guiding him to make these type of decisions that he has done. Of course there are. And the SEC, this Gary Gensler character, more will come out about him and his activities. But it seems that, yes, they are involved. As a matter of fact, actually, you can't have somebody that can go up in the thing, right up, rubbing shoulders with regulators, rubbing shoulders with politicians, the highest level of politicians is at that, and nobody knows anything of what they're up to. That makes no sense whatsoever. And even the type of investment that he was able to get, millions of dollars of investment from VCs and such, and certain things that are coming out like high return, no risk. I'm like, when you're putting a business plan together and you say that kind of stuff, that's the sort of things that people, it's an instant red flag and tell you, like, take that out. No, that makes no sense. But then you have other characters that are able to put that stuff and they get millions and millions of investment. Get out of here, man. Yeah, he's a fool guy. He was meant to play his role. That's what he was for. And as a result, it's shaken up the crypto world. But for me, it goes beyond him as a character. It goes beyond the team as well, and it goes beyond the shady, shadowy characters in the background manipulating. It goes beyond all of that. What it does point to is, or what if we really want change, then we need to change culture, and it's not just the system. So crypto, when you go deep into it, it offers a shift and a change in system, in the way things are done, so that things can be more decentralized, which means more fair and equal distribution of wealth. That's the result of it. And transparency, so that people can see what's going on. There's no hidden, and like FTX was able to do all kinds of shady stuff behind the scenes that people didn't know. That's already a problem. If those bad actors are operating like that, this is the exact thing that crypto is meant to be against. So the tenets and principles of what crypto promises to be has to be adhered to, and the culture is very much a part of that. So I'm in the space because, like I'm saying, it is the not too distant future. It is here now, and we want to be a part of it so that we can shape it. But also, we are here to remind of the roots and the source of how this even exists, how technology even exists, and that comes from our motherland, Africa. The resources that are stolen from there, the conflict minerals, the young people, the families who are exploited, and blood, sweat and tears, literal blood, sweat and tears that goes into the minerals that makes all of this possible, have to be remembered, and we're here to keep them remembered.
The obsession. They must have tapped into our primal instincts. Excitement always surrounds a new thing. Laptops, iPads, tablets, consoles. Racing with the rate at which they release the latest device. New features, the flexing of technology's muscles. I feel it because my phone is now a part of me. Yet it's out of date in 6 months. But I wonder, what's the cost of a phone call? Is it the embarrassing moments when I forget to turn it off before it goes off in a meeting at work? My mind's gone berserk because ringtones set the wrong tones at an interview. Again at the cinema. Suspend the suspense at the theatre. Deciding my fate. Interrupting a kiss with my date. Or do I find the cost of a phone call during times when I'm hungry because my phone bill got fat of eating my greens? But really, what if my phone rang every time our body dropped for the minerals it took to create it? Would I still want to answer it? I've been caught red-handed, wondering how blood got my hands. Answers found in a paper trail. Who would have thought my £30 a month bill contributed to profits over people policy, income margins marginalising the rise of death tolls, corporations whose cash flows rolls from streaming reservoirs bloodied by bodies of our people?
Because the culture, if we're talking about we want a fair and more equal world, then we cannot forget those that are the reason why this even exists in the first place. And even the energy and just the attitude of people within the space as well is not one that is conducive to creating a better world. So at the moment, there's too many people that are in the space just simply and only to get and make money. That is their driving force. When you can have a dual part of it, yes, we should aspire for wealth. We should aspire to better our lives. I don't really believe in the sort of high horse poverty living, but we should also, alongside that, have the goals, drive, and ambition for bettering the world for all.
But yeah, spot on. Like it's a duality. It's not even have to be a duality that's conflicting. Actually, what it is just understanding long term what your purpose is and what you're here for. But yes, not like dwelling in poverty and activism through showing how much you're willing to break your back and your neck, but not actually building anything that's going to be more than rhetoric. Essentially, in a world that responds to power, you have to gain that power, essentially. And there are many ways to have that influence. There's many forms of currency, for sure. Energy, time, knowledge. There's all sorts of skill sets that are currency. But money talks. It's the quickest and fastest route to getting what your vision made a reality. So it's about making that money. And gotta do it. We've got to do it. So just really deep what you said, and I hope people can take from that lesson or understand and not just get swept up in the okie doke that's just all going to come out about all of this. And the fear generator machine is on fully. Crunk, they have crunched that machine. When it comes to crypto, most people, scam. Like me, my granddad, 99, you talk to him about crypto, what's the first thing? He's like,
it's the mainstream media.
Scam.
It's what the mainstream media does.
Yeah.
And for us, it's like, Don't get involved when everyone is saying get involved. Get involved when people are saying it's throwing all kinds of shade on it.
Exactly.
That's the time for you to get your knowledge up. You have time and space to. Don't get in it when it's all hyped up, because that time will come again, and it has happened before.
And it won't be what it was. It'll be something else that they're promoting at that point. Something that's actually controlled and a vision that they want.
Yeah.
And the they, you know who we mean.
Yeah, it's getting just get educated. It's not even just jump. We don't even believe it. We're not purporting for you to just jump in blind. Actually, we're just saying by get involved, it's like get yourself educated.
Yes, know the knowledge. It's when they say don't look up, the movie Don't Look Up. Remember that? You guys saw it on Netflix with Leonardo DiCaprio and all the stars. Yeah, don't look up. The thing was hurtling to earth. Yeah, it was actually really, really real. So you should have looked up. So if everyone's saying crypto, it's a scam, it's this, it's that, just ask yourself why, and then go from that point onwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anything else you want to bring to the mic?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, yeah, we have been Stella B and Maat Nye on Out of Noise, the place where we bring our peace to the mic. Please do share the content. We appreciate all of our subscribers. Hi. Thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. Do share all the information that you liked and enjoyed. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Out of Noise.
Peace.